Hi, this is Tim, and I'm with Jack,
All right, Tim.
my Exploding Head Sessions pal. Uh, so we started this series, the Exploding Head Sessions Retrospective, where we're just using this bit of downtime that we've got to look back at our previous sessions and just kind of go back through them and just relive them a little bit, listen to some of the tracks, have a think to the bands that we booked, and have a look at where they are now and that kind of thing. So we did session one previously, so you should be able to find that on the channel. So today we're actually going to be talking about our second session, which would have been in September 2017
Yeah,
at Paper
it was.
Dress Village.
It was September the 12th. I know
Look at
this
that
because I just
memory.
lifted the poster. Well, I just lifted the
Excellent.
poster off the Paper Dress Vintage website. I
Fair.
was like, needed to get the background, which I'm actually morphing into, which is kind of
Yeah, your face is
you can't
sort
get
of,
the vision.
you look like a kind of a strange android sort of thing, but it's
Yeah,
working. It's working for
yeah, it's
me.
good, man.
Yeah, it
I
looks
can't be more
fine.
committed. You know what I mean? Than turning into the exploding head space.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all I can
looks
go
fine.
for.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Session two. I mean, it was
Session
a.
two.
I mean, what I remember, first off, what I really remember from it was a really nice sunny day. I remember walking up to Paper Dress Village, getting off the train, and I got there a bit later and I could hear the sound check. And just looking up, and I just remember, I think it was the second band, Final
Final
Staircase was
staircase.
playing,
Yeah.
because they were pretty psyche, and just sort of was like, oh man, this is wicked. You know what I mean? It was like a late summer, early autumn's eve, getting all romantic. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
Well, it's nice that you were so kind of relaxing and chilled for you because I remember I was having absolute kittens that night. So the first night, if you remember, because we'd never done a night there before, and I'd only really just started getting into doing live sound. We actually had one of the paper dress in-house engineers working with us on the first night. So she talked me through everything, how to set everything up, how to pack everything away, how the desk works, everything you need to know. But me not really thinking about the fact that the next night would be a month away, just kind of was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, just sort of took it all in just mentally, didn't write anything down, didn't make notes of where to plug stuff or just where everything's kept. And then because I had Johan helping then as well from the second night on, because we were doing the live sound course together at uni. So I had him down to help, and between the two of us, we suddenly realized that we literally had no idea like how to set anything up. Um, and it was just a paper dress.
Yeah, that sort of rings a bell actually.
Yeah, so a paper dress, especially then, I don't know if it's still the same, but nothing's plugged. So obviously, I work at a Victoria now. Like, if you rock up to the Victoria, you just have to turn the desk on and turn the PA on. Like everything's patched. But paper dress, you unpatch everything every night. So no cables. Like the PA's not attached to the desk. None of the amps are connected. All that kind of stuff. So I was suddenly confronted, like my first proper night of having to run a gig on my own, other than doing like the odd shift at the Victoria that I knew really well. And yeah, literally just I ended up having to call. I think her name is Mari, I think she still works paper dress, but I had to call her, and she was on holiday or she was back home in like Spain, and I had I think it was Vinyl Staircase. I don't think Dancehall. Oh no, I don't think Great Ytene were there at the beginning to sound check. So we sound checked Vinyl Staircase first, and the poor guys were just standing there on stage, and I was just like sweating buckets, just like I just literally cannot get any sound out of the PA, and I'm just like how like, but as with all these things, and I guess it was a big learning moment as an engineer, but being able to actually work out the problems, even if it did take quite a while to get there. And it was fine in the end. Obviously, it all kind of worked out and managed to get everything running. But yeah, Jesus. And obviously I could just see the time just ticking away, just every minute
Getting
is just
closer. Yeah,
getting closer and closer to and I'm just thinking like, this is just not going to happen. Like I was speaking to Stephen Dix, asking him if he had any idea. He was like, dude, I'm not a sound engineer. I've absolutely no idea. And he was like, you're the sound engineer. I was just like, oh my God, this is a catastrophe. But yeah, we got there. And
Well, yeah. I mean, that rings a bell. I think actually on the way in, you may have phoned me up saying you needed some cable. Plus, this does ring a bell actually. I had to go and buy a cable from one of those shops on Hackney Road,
yeah,
like a mobile phone shop,
the USB
something like
cable,
that.
yeah.
Might have been, yeah.
So yeah, like
and then
it
I
was.
got there, and you were like, "I'll do that." You were like, "Yeah, I remember this now." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. But like I said, I think these sort of situations, especially in engineering terms, that's the learning stuff that they don't teach you in at uni, or like you can't learn that kind of stuff in a classroom. You have to literally be there with a band on stage, with with literally no audio coming out of the speakers, and have to be able to then work out what the fuck is going on basically, and then fix it. So yeah, I mean, absolute nightmare to start with, but I think because of those difficulties, I think by the time the bands actually started, the relief was so big, and that the actual feeling of that this is actually kind of going all right. It was quite overwhelming, I think.
But also an absolute killer band to start off again.
Yeah.
What a band just to have as opening act in dancehall, which
it was sort of another favourite pulled really. So my old band played with dancehall at the Victoria and Hussey actually.
Okay.
Funnily enough, for different reasons. But yeah, so it was my band, dancehall was the main sport, and then Hussey. And I spoke with Craig for ages backstage after the gig, and yeah, we just got on really well. And I thought those guys were great. And again, when we were at that early stage of thinking of like, right, who can we actually contact? He was one of the first people I thought of to try and get hold of, and those guys were so up for it, which was great, and they were so good, still are so good. I know we are speaking, obviously trying to get them back down again, but yeah, I think getting them on as the first band of the second session really just sort of made us feel, well, for me, I'm sure it's the same for you, like, yeah, this is really good, like, this has got the potential, I think, to be something really cool.
Yeah. Well, I remember you. You really felt out those first couple of sessions. I mean, I don't think I didn't book any of these bands or any of the next session 3 either. So I remember you were already putting in your favours at that stage, which I guess was really handy in just getting this night established. Because sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think what it helped that I think we mentioned in the first episode, but like I was working in Victoria, first behind the bar, getting to know bands when they came and played, just on a sort of personal, friendly level. But then moving behind the desk and starting to do the sound. I mean, that's when you really start getting a good relationship with bands, and so once you've done sound for someone and it's gone well and they've enjoyed the gig, it's you're in a good position then to start trying to like kind of pull these kind of favors, because yeah, like you said, it is about who you know, and it's about trusting as well. And as a sound engineer, if you do a good job for someone at one venue and then you offer them something exciting to come and down and do, even if there's maybe not a huge amount of money involved or any money, as we couldn't promise anyone anything. But yeah, I mean, so it was nice to kind of just fill these initial kind of sessions with bands that I sort of knew or had seen and kind of had met briefly, so at least had a bit of an in with them and a bit of a connection to be able to to speak with them and get them on board.
What I the thing I remember most about dancehall was it was the first time I started properly trying to interview the bands for the show. And it sounds crazy to say this now, but I was quite a bit nervous about it. Like I was kind of like, oh my god,
Yeah,
are they going to be like? They're not going to be funny.
Yeah.
But what I remember is like they were the guys at dancehall were hilarious. And I remember to be fair, all the bands from that night and the majority of the bands we meet are all really good. And like now, interviewing bands is really easy. But like I remember just feeling really nervous about getting it wrong. And of course, I was just asking them stupid questions. And I can't remember the singer's name from dancehall. One of the questions I always ask is, if you were going to cook us a meal, what would you cook us? And what his response was, I've never forgotten it. And it was just the best response. He said, it's an Asda frozen pizza with a tin of stag chili con carne just pulled on top.
I remember this. That's so disgusting.
And I'm like, that is the dinner of kings.
Didn't even have to think about it. Just that's shocking. I mean, on that note, should we listen? Let's give it a go. So I have gone for KO, which I think they ended up releasing as a single, and like it was on their debut album, and it's just such a great song. So here we go. This is KO by Dancehall. There you go. Such
good record, man.
Belter of a song, isn't it? I love how simple it is. It's just, it's got kind of like the simplicity of sort of a pop punk song, but without any of the sort of cheesiness. That kind of makes sense.
Their debut album's really good, actually. Like, it's very good. I listened to it quite a lot randomly. You know, when you get back into an album, I was listening to it quite a lot before this coronavirus stuff on the tube, going into work and stuff, and it's good, really, really good. definitely worth checking out. And I think they are I think they are probably due to release some more stuff
I
soon.
think so. Yeah, I think they have been recording.
Yeah.
Because they record down with Chris at Cluster Rooms.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's that spoilers crossover with Craig and stuff. So I think
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
they record everything down at Cluster Room. So yeah, I'm sure I've seen something mention that they've been recording and stuff again. So
yeah, well, I think when we because obviously we were trying to get them, we were talking about getting them to headline for us before this stuff happened. I guess they would have hopefully headlined one of the gigs that we're probably going to miss in terms of actual dates with the breakdown. But I mean, they're a wicked band. They're just good. They've got that whole good, so just good kind of punk pop ethic. But not in a cheesy way. Like this is very good. Like it's really worth going and seeing play. Like they're a good band to go and watch.
Definitely,
really great.
Cool. And then so middle bands, we've mentioned them already, but Vinyl Staircase. So yeah, these guys are really good. I think this was another band that I'd seen. Do you know what? I don't actually think I had seen them before. I think one of those bands I'd just seen the name, just kind of. I just thought I was seeing the name started like knocking around. Other promoters putting them on other venues. I don't think they played at the Victoria, at least not that I'd seen them or done the sound to them or anything. I think it was just one of those bands I just approached based off the fact that they were doing a fair few gigs and I just liked the sound of them. I thought they sounded really cool. Like you've already touched upon, they've got that nice kind of sort of psyche sounds.
Yeah, it's kind of jangly.
Yeah, very good songwriting. These guys. They're all, especially then. I mean, obviously this is a few years ago now, especially. So they were so young. I was kind of a bit sort of taken aback when they appeared, and they were
very fresh faced.
They all looked very young.
That's for sure. Yeah, I remember. What I thought was funny. I remember when you booked them. I didn't know them, and I listened to them. I just thought they were brilliant. I thought, God, these are really, really good. And they were starting to get quite a bit of hype, sort of around. But I think between when we agreed to book them and then, by the time we sort of got the session out, they were playing quite a lot of festivals. I think they were booked in for some festivals.
Yeah.
But I do remember what made me really laugh. Their appearance was obviously they had that, like three quarters of the band had that real like psyche. Kind of like they had the long hair. I think two of them were brothers, right? Aren't they?
Yeah,
and then the bass player was just like the complete. He had like a baseball cap on. He looked like he might even have the polo shirt popped up.
He had like a sort of 90s football fan vibe going, if I remember rightly. Maybe even with like a fisherman's hat, or have I projected?
I think it was a cap, man.
Was it just a cap?
Yeah,
I projected my 90s image too far to a point of like, but no, I do. Yeah, I remember that as well. But it adds to their charm. I think he's an excellent bassist as well.
Yeah, he was a good lad as well. I remember like chatting to them and stuff. But they were like, I just remember for me again because it was like the second one, and I think it's true when you start putting on nights. It's kind of easy to get people coming to the first one because people will come. Your mates will come down for favours. Yeah. And then the second and third are always a bit tricky, but I just remember walking in and seeing them doing their their sound check, and like the sun was setting, and it was just like they were playing their kind of like psyche sort of like jangly bits. Just like, man, this is like insane. This is like fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, just like a really good band. And I think they actually dropped me a line not that long ago. They sent me some info through because they had a new release coming up. And I didn't, not out of like, because I didn't want to. I just like, it's just one of those things where, sometimes you get an email that comes at the wrong time and you
of course.
put it to one side and then go back to it. But now I'm doing these live streams, I'll definitely check that out and see what they're up to. Because I listened back to this session, it was brilliant.
I definitely don't think they've played, because I think they're Guildford based, if I remember right. Yeah. I don't think they've played in London as much recently in the last sort of year or so. I don't remember seeing many gigs advertised and stuff. So I don't know if they've just sort of cooled it down a little bit, but I'd love to see them again. You know, we can definitely look at getting them down again at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure their sound has probably changed a little bit by now as well. They seemed that they were kind of at that stage where there was a few different directions that they were kind of hinting that they might be able to go down. So it'd be interesting to kind of see which route they took. But yeah, the song I've chosen is German Wings for these guys.
Good tune, man.
It's a great tune, and I do remember when I came down to do your Hoxton FM show. You put this on, and I actually because I think they just released it as a single, and you played the session version, and I for like 20 seconds or so I couldn't actually work out which version you were playing, which I think, you know, that was nice when you were just like, this is ours. I was like, oh.
Well, this is this is a really good record because, funny enough, because when I've been getting these live streams sorted out for the radio show, and when I was fiddling around trying to work out, making sure it all worked, and I just uploaded. You have to upload playlists to this system, and it just by chance uploaded that playlist from that session we did when I did it at Hoxton FM.
Okay,
so I had those tracks. And this track was like the first one. I was just testing. Does this work? And I had people listening to check that it did. And I played this record, and I was like, oh, this is such a good record. So pleasure to hear it again.
Nice. Well, on that note, let's get cracking with it. Here we go. This is German Wings. Super.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good stuff.
It's a
Brilliant.
great
I mean,
song.
yeah, testament to you, man. That sounds great. If you were stressing losing your nut about
Yeah.
2 hours before, that sounds really good.
Yeah. Thankfully, you can't really tell. No, it does sound great. Um, I think the thing that's really nice about them as well, I remember now listening to it, is that I think they had like at least three vocalists. Obviously, the main singer, and then the drummer sang. I think they had at least one, maybe even two more. And in some of the songs, they
Yeah.
have like three or four different harmonies, and they were all very like they were all really good singers.
Mm.
Which gave some of their vocals parts like quite a nice thick, which you don't often get on live recordings. Is like the sort of the backing vocals when you're mixing it. Sometimes you just like live it's good because it has a bit of impact and it gives a bit more clout to the vocals. But then when you're recorded, you're just kind of like either the singer's not very good or they're not singing into the mic very well. So it's really hard to mix it. But I just that listening back to that brought back memories of mixing it, being like, wow, like all of these vocals are really really solid, like really strong vocals.
Yeah, there's something about that. Obviously we've done like 29, 28 sessions or whatever, but there is actually that song and that band. They do stand out. They're quite. It's like almost a different thing. Like it's not. I'm not saying it's any better than other stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just got its own very sound. And listen back to it now that's like a really good recording and quite different to a lot of the other bands we.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very different to Dancehall who we just had, which was also
Yeah.
brilliant. And very different to Great Ytene.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, talking of very different bands, I mean, Great Ytene and still one of my favourite performances that we've actually had, and again, bringing the second show to a close, it was it was a really great show. That I just remember it being very intense.
Yeah,
not in a climax, revenue kind of.
No.
Just in the sort of their performance and the sound and the noise that they made in Paper Dress was. I have memories of being behind the sound desk, just being like kind of a bit blown away by just how loud everything sounded, but it's still great sounding.
No, man. I would again because they were because you just basically ran it, which was all really brilliant. You booked all these bands, and I knew nothing about Great Ytene. And then when obviously you said you booked them, and I was like, cool. And I started listening to them, and I was like, just at the time I hadn't really heard anything quite like them.
Yeah.
But now, because of Exploding Heads, I've heard more bands similar to that. And got USA Nows came on, and they're another sort of intense, loud band. But yeah, it was intense was the word. I just remember like seeing them on the stage and just like watching them. Yeah, no, good, really good.
It was so good. And their album is, I think they've only done one album, I believe. I think they've done maybe an EP and an album, but the album was on Faux Discs, which is obviously a sorely missed record label.
It was actually the last release on Faux Discs.
I think it was, yeah. I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a great album, and I honestly don't know. I haven't really seen. I mean, even at that point, when they played for us, I think that was their first gig in like a year or something. I remember speaking to them at Soundcheck and them just being like, yeah, we just wanted to come and do this. We haven't played in ages. We just thought it'd be a good thing to kind of get back into the swing of it again. And then after they played for us, like, again, I don't really remember seeing them play a whole lot more than that. And I'm not sure if they're even, I don't know if they're still going or...
Well, their drummer has been quite unwell, I think.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember some posts about that.
I think he's all right. Yeah,
but
that probably explains it. But they came down. Obviously, they came down to do the Hoxton FM show. Actually, so it was the drummer. I think is it Lewis? Was it
Lewis?
Then the singer was he
Leon?
called Jack as well? Leon.
Yeah, maybe. Leon.
But really nice guys. We had a really nice, a real fun evening. We were just playing records and chatting.
Yeah.
And they were a good bunch of just really good guys, and yeah, and for these recordings we've got and their album, which again because they are a band that they haven't really played much at all really since this.
Yeah,
it's so worth not checking out. Like
yeah, definitely.
Radar.
I'm sure it's the same for you. I'm sure there are sessions that some just kind of your go-to sessions for when you're just a bit stuck for something to listen to, or like I've often found my old mobile phone plan had only had about 10 gig of data, and every now and again I'd find myself getting to the end of the month and getting very close to running out. Maybe if I'd streamed a football match or something and just used it all, that would be the times where I'd kind of be forced almost to go back and to go offline. And then there'd be the times where I'd be like, right, well, look, I've got a journey to do here. What better point to put on a full session and just listen to it? Obviously, no data burn. Mm. And the Great Ytene one is always one of my go-to ones. I never get tired of listening to it. It just sounds great. And I think the fact that they're not massively active anymore, it is kind of a slightly nice nostalgic sort of feel to it.
No, they introduced me to some wicked bands, none of which I can remember right now. But I remember when they came down to the Hoxton FM show, they sent me their records through, and there were some like amazing records on there, like really good stuff, like a whole genre of music, a whole scene that I was completely unaware of from the sort of from 2005, 2006 onwards. Okay. Like almost like it was like to my ears, I was saying, well, this kind of sounds like post-punky, and they're like, this ain't post-punk, this is like this, and like right now I've forgotten, but like really good.
Sure.
I'll dig out now. I'll probably dig out that show and have a listen to it because I remember there's some really good stuff.
Yeah,
but really good band. So what's the record that you picked?
I'm not entirely sure the pronunciation, but I think it's Oneness or Oneness. It was like the main. It was the sort of the big single that they put out. It's a bit of a longer one. It's like 6 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. It sounds great. So here we go. mean, yeah, 6 minutes, but it kind of flies by.
That was brilliant. That is really intense, isn't it? But it's really freaking good.
Yeah, it's kind of
really good.
It's kind of crazy that that's recorded at Paper Just Vintage, because it doesn't feel like that level of noise would like fit into a room the size of Paper Just Vintage.
No, that was insane. I do remember Stephen, the owner, I think he was a little bit scared of that. He's a good guy, Stephen. Stephen's good, isn't he? But I remember. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, that's really good. Well, yeah, I mean, like, if that isn't testament enough to go and check out the whole session, but also just check out the band and check out their album.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, the full recording of that session is definitely one of my favorites that we've done. It's one of my go-tos for sure. Yeah, I really like it.
And they released it actually. I'd forgotten, but
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on the Bandcamp page. It is on the Bandcamp page.
Yeah, they just did
it. I don't know if they released the whole session or just the tracks. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I think they released it like as a live album, which was cool. So that was. I mean, we did pretty well there, really, for a second.
Yeah, session 2.
We proved to Steve that the second one's, not so difficult.
No. And we had also a good poster too. It was at this point I hadn't really thought about the posters. Like, we'd had the first black one, and then when the blue version was sent over, I was like, oh wow,
this is
obviously that's how and that's how it started. So
yeah,
great,
cool, man, nice one. Well, as before, it was actually really, really nice to relive that, and I look forward to doing the third one.
Yeah, man, roll on, session 3. Thanks a lot, Tim.